Here we are. We made it. It is episode 8? Or is it 9? It's 8, right?
Chapter 8 of The Mandalorian from Disney Plus. And this does feel kind of weird because there's no snow and no eggnog and and my old hat is back.
And I've been sick for 3 weeks, and that's why this has been delayed. I got hit like on Christmas Eve. That was my present on Christmas Eve, was whatever I had, and it went all the way through Christmas Eve, you know, and all the way through last week, and now finally I somewhat got my voice back. It sounds like I do, but if I don't talk for a while, I start talking like this, like you can't hear me because of my whole voice. But right now I'm okay because I got a big old glass of water here. And the other weird things you might be like, what's going on with you? Why are you sitting on a couch? Well, I changed my studio a little bit, so I didn't have a chance to fix the couch behind me, so I am sitting on a couch now, but I'm going to try to fix it later, so don't worry about it.
But yeah, so Dave got sick, and yeah, he was sick all the way through New Year's. I mean, so that's if you go and watch our Rise of Skywalker review, you could see where he actually caught the cold that he has from.
Yeah. Because
Becky had it.
I think I got like the super flu from her. I think I got like the umbrella virus or whatever. So that's what it felt like.
That or bird flu or something.
Yeah, probably what it was. Probably the bird flu. So episode 8 here. Okay, I mean it ended on a cliffhanger last time, and I could not wait to see this episode. I actually woke up, and I was off that day. It was on, you know, it came on Friday. I actually woke up that day at 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up Becky, and I was like, we gotta watch this now because I don't want any spoilers for the rest of the day. You know, I don't want to have to, you know, not get on anything. I want to watch it because it's so cool to be able just to watch it on your television when you want to. And I think this is the only time I've ever done that to any TV show ever, because not just because of spoilers, but because I wanted to find out what happened. Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I kind of wanted to get up early and go and watch it. And again, it had nothing to do with spoilers or anything. It was just I wanted to see what happened and what's, you know, where this is going to go from here too. What, you know, because I kind of figured they're going to wrap up in this episode at least a lot of the questions from this season, and then of course open up a bunch of new questions for the next season. And that's where I wanted to see what was going to happen. And they actually did it. And, you know, they did it just unbelievably well. I mean, just from the very beginning of this episode, I was laughing so hard. It's because it starts, I'm not going to give any spoilers out for those who still have never seen it yet. It starts with the two speeder bike guys. Why can't I remember the name of those guys? Biker Scouts. Biker Scouts. I can never remember the name of them. Even though they're my favorite stormtroopers, I can't think of their names. Biker Scouts. So, and it's just funny. And it's just, I mean, I was literally laughing out loud, and I was enjoying myself. And again, this is something that I have not really done in a long time watching Star Wars. It was just pure joy to watch the beginning of this episode. Pure, absolute joy for a Star Wars fan. And if you weren't laughing, then you're not a Star Wars fan. I mean, they were kind of making fun of Star Wars a little bit, but at the same time they weren't, because that's kind of what the characters are. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant beginning to this episode. It's kind of like, what would you think that two, you know, Imperial, well, Biker Scouts, but Stormtroopers, you know, what would you think they would be talking about if they're just standing around the water cooler or something? You know, if they're just standing around waiting to you know, for orders to go and do something. What would they say to each other? So that was kind of cool to actually see that for once. to see what these guys would actually talk about. That was pretty entertaining, but I know after this episode a lot of people got upset because the one Biker Scout, of course, is like pushing or punching Baby Yoda in the bag. And I thought, okay, yeah, I can see people getting upset, but you know what? It's not real, people. Plus, they're evil, so that's something that they don't care about. I mean, they're with the Empire, so they could care less about whatever they had. So
exactly, they're being the brutal Empire that they've been. You know that if you haven't gotten a hold of that the Empire is evil, well, I think you better give up now.
So this whole episode, I was just on the edge of my seat. I mean, it was suspense, it was action, and like I said, they had some comedy in the beginning of it, and it's like you didn't know what was going to happen, where it was going to go, how it was going to end up, and I mean, I can't say more about this final episode. It's one of the best finales, especially the first season show that I've ever seen. I mean, I loved it. I just absolutely love this.
Yeah, I absolutely loved this whole episode. I've loved this entire season. They've done such a great job with this entire show, and to see it finally come together all in this episode, and then now I can't wait for season 2. I mean, I'm elated. I can't wait. We have to wait till fall of next year, or this year actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, fall is not that far away. I mean, it is, but I'm glad it's this year fall and not next year fall. That would be a killer.
Yeah, well, basically, if you think about it, though, there's a lot of people that think, oh my God, why does it take so long for them to do something like this? Well, if you think about it, they're basically making a movie, and they've done this show like they would do a movie. And same thing with, like, again, Cobra Kai. They film it like they film a movie, or even Stranger Things. Same thing. You know, they film it like they would film an actual all-together movie. So for them to take as long as they do to make all these shows, I don't mind waiting, especially if it turns out this well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about the show that I haven't said in the last 8 episodes, last 7 episodes. I love it, and it's made me a Star Wars fan all over again. With all these new, prequels, and then the ending of this trilogy, and all this stuff that you keep getting shoved down your face and down your throat and into your eyeballs and up your nose, and and then you have to sit here and listen to all the Star Wars fans whine about not liking this, not liking that, and not liking the way this ends, or who this is, and what that is. This is, I said this in my last review, I think this is the one, finally, they did it right, the one thing of Star Wars that brought all the Star Wars fans back together. I think just about every Star Wars fan out there, just about, I guess, would agree that this is it. I mean, this is Star Wars. They finally brought back what made Star Wars Star Wars. The fun, the action, the adventure, the cool characters, the story, putting you on the edge of your seat, can't wait to find out what happened. That's Star Wars, and that's what this entire season did for me. I am Star Wars fan number 1 again.
Well, so am I, but I've never not been Star Wars fan number 1, so, but also to add to everything that you're talking about, they also added mystery. That's another thing about the Mandalorian, is he's mysterious. And that was the thing that was attracted all the Star Wars fans to Boba Fett, was that he was a mysterious character, and you didn't know a whole lot about him. They didn't give a whole lot of information about him. You just could tell when he walked onto the screen for the first time, this guy is a bad guy. He's a villain. He's a character. He's mysterious. He's there's something about this guy that it just appeals to everybody. And the Mandalorian here is no different. So eventually they do give more background to the Mandalorian himself, and they start to show where his story began. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, that basically he was saved by the Mandalorians. I like that part. I mean, I love that part. And when I first saw the Mandalorian show up on there, I was like, oh, wait a minute, is that Jango? Because the way their suits look, they kind of look a little like Jango. I mean, the color of them. But I don't know. Maybe it could have been Boba Fett, for all I know, that showed up and actually rescued him.
And this showed, this episode gave you everything you wanted. It gave you, you know, the stormtroopers and the fighting, and I don't want to give anything away, but everything you wanted building up to this episode, it gave it to you. And it was so satisfying that they did that. It was really satisfying to see all these cool things. And there were so many oh my god moments here. You're like, I can't believe they're doing this, and this is awesome, and oh my, it's just, I can't say more about this entire season, this final episode, and it's I think the best thing that has come out of Star Wars since the original 1977 Star Wars. This is it for me. This is it. This is the best thing that I've seen since the original trilogy.
Well, one of the things that I agree with all that. Well, I agree with all that, but one of the things that I've kind of said in these last few episodes, or last few reviews that we've done, is, or at least I know I mentioned it kind of early on, is that this is brand new. It's brand new in the Star Wars universe, but it still reaches back to everything that you loved about Star Wars, and that's why we're enjoying this so much. But at the same time, you know, they've been doing this all along, and that's what I kind of like, with all these people that always, you know, I hate this and I hate that and I hate that, and it just gets on my nerves, because okay, now you get something different, and then you're complaining because it's not the way you thought it would be, or what, and that just drives me crazy. So ignore all that and you know, watch the show for yourself, because it's a great show. It's a great show. This is what you've been complaining about, and here it is. So, you know, I don't see why you would even complain about this or anything else. It's here. They're doing it, you know.
One thing that I really liked about this episode too is it goes back to, like, there's stuff, again, I don't want to have any spoilers, but it doesn't ignore the other Star Wars. Things from the other films show up in here, and it was kind of cool to see that, because you haven't really seen that, especially in a live action show, since the first Phantom Menace. I mean, they haven't really dealt with that part of Star Wars at all in the new trilogy. I mean, that's kind of just, I mean, they did a little bit in the trilogy, but not a whole lot, but I'm saying there's stuff that was in the first original three, you know, episode 1, 2, and 3, that they talk about in this. They actually talked about a Gungan. Is it Gungan? Gungan.
Gungans. Jar Jar.
Yeah, they actually talked about one of those, and not in this episode, but in the series, and I love that, because they hate them, and they hate them as much as I do, and that was nice to see that. And I think that if they did bring that into this universe, saying how much people get annoyed by those Gungans, you know, it would be sort of real satisfying to know that there's people in the Star Wars universe that hate these things.
I don't know. It's still, you know, it's still a part of the Star Wars universe, no matter what. It's still there, and it's just the way that people react to them. They can either like them or not like them, and you know, it's just like us. It's the same thing. You either like it or you don't.
I mean, they even brought up Life Day in one episode, so.
Yeah, that was early on. Well, I was going to say, yeah, what's really cool too is they even went back not only to the movies, but they went back to the actual television shows and the special. I mean, they went back to the Ewoks television show, or television movie, and then they even went back to definitely with the first couple episodes, it was all the way back to the holiday special. And I love that about this entire season. It's, you know.
That's what I'm saying, is they're not ignoring that stuff. They're acknowledging that stuff exists in this world that you're watching, and that's what I really liked that they're doing in this show.
And they're bringing it up to date and making it cool, actually. It actually makes it kind of relevant, or at least relevant to Star Wars. And you know, that's awesome. I like the fact that they're doing that.
So overall, I'm going to give, you know, not just this episode, but I'm going to give the whole season a review here. A rating. So overall, all 8 episodes I loved. I mean, I could not wait until Friday night, get home from work, and watch an episode, because every one of them I enjoyed. There was only one that I didn't like, but other than that, all of them were just a joy to watch, and it's fun, like I said, and it's what makes me a Star Wars fan. This is why this series is why I love Star Wars, and they got it, and they got it right. And I was worried about it the first 1 or 2 episodes, but then I realized they got it. I mean, there's nothing to worry about here. The people know what they're doing, and because of that, this entire first 8 episodes of The Mandalorian, for me, gets the bomb!
And I would say the exact same thing without question, is that this whole season altogether gets the bomb.
One last thing I want to say on here is I've done series reviews before, and this is a lot of work, getting on here every single week, and especially when only like 6 people watch it, or 5 people, or 2 people watch the entire thing, and you've got to watch, you know, the show, then you got to come down here and record it, and you got to edit it. But actually, this show, this 8 episodes, is the most fun I've had reviewing any show ever. And I don't care. I don't care if 5 people watch it, because I have had a blast reviewing all these episodes, because it's so good and so much fun, and whatever. I mean, I don't care if anyone watches this.
Well, the last thing I have to say too is the one thing that I really like about this, and I agree with everything that David just said there, but the one thing I also like about this is that it's getting ready for season 2, but it's also getting everybody ready for the other series that are coming. And definitely the one series that I can't wait, especially if it's done like they did this, The Mandalorian. I cannot wait to see the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and especially to see Ewan McGregor come back as Obi-Wan. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait, because he was one of the things that I really did enjoy from the prequels, was him playing Obi-Wan.
I just hope, you know, because this show has become this huge success that it has, that they don't, you know, what's the word, that they don't overpopulate, you know, Star Wars shows on here. I hope they don't come out with 67 different Star Wars shows, so by, you know, number 67, it don't feel special or fun anymore. You're like, okay, what's the next one?
But to see more and more and more of this stuff, and we'll be here next fall for The Mandalorian Season 2, so to join us and see all these episodes, whether it's 5 people or it's 20, or it's 120 or more, you have to subscribe, and subscribe to us, and give us a like, give us some feedback, give us some comments, hit the little bell up there, and we'll see y'all later, and may the Force be with you.